All right, everybody, welcome in. It's Real Talk with Spoon and Puddin. I'm the one and only Big Spoon.
That'll be pudding. So, where you want to talk about today?
And let's start with our good old disclaimer. Get that out of the way. The primary purpose of this podcast is to educate and share our thoughts and opinions. When we have proof and evidence on a topic, it will be brought forth. This podcast does not constitute advice or services to anyone. Spoon and Puddin do not accept any responsibility or liability for our guests or anyone's comments or actions based on the material we talk about on our podcast. This podcast is private and non commercial use, and everyone should ascertain that the information we provide is correct and verified at all times. There shall be no adding to, editing, or reproduction of this podcast without prior written permission from Spoon and Puddin. Reach us at Real Talk with Spoon and Puddin at gmail.com. Now, saying that, like I said, you can still share and tell people about it. You just can't reproduce it, change it,
Out of
take everything,
context.
take everything out of context. So, hope everybody had a happy Mother's Day. Where do you want to start there, Puddin?
You said you had some stuff you put on there. I'll let you go.
You want
I
me to
can't
go,
make.
huh?
Well, I can't figure out what it. There's something new up there now. Well, you put a bunch of stuff up there. Up there in the brands.
Yeah, I put a few things up there new. Just a few things. You talk about the overlay?
No, wherever you put up there, you're where I was looking here. Got a Facebook image. I don't know who that is. Oh, that must be the mayor,
Oh yeah. That's the mayor and chamber going hand in hand. Don't you know that?
huh? Oh well.
You can't have one without the other.
Mhm. I was doing a little phone research.
All right. Well, I'm gonna dive right in. I told everybody last week that I had the budget for the last 3 years, and I went and dug in this past week into this budget from last year. So I'm gonna hit the mayor kind of hard and talk about these numbers. Uh, how much money you think a small town like Portland went through in a year?
I don't know.
Take a guess. I don't know.
A small town like Portland,
Yeah.
20 million.
Uh, look over. Let's see. We went over $14,323,000, but our budget was $12,895,000. So we spent right at 1.5 million more than we had, and
Mm-hmm.
that's not including the loans we have out and the money we borrowed because you know they just happen not to give me that information. How convenient, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's at least to the year 2035, and some people that know this for a fact that uh, as a part of the city says right now we owe and we'll be paying money out from between the years 2035 and 2045 as we set right now. And they just voted last week in the meeting to borrow up to another $6 million.
Oh.
So we've already spent 1.5 million this year. That's just in 2021, this last year, 1.5 million more than what we were budgeted. And oh, by the way, we had if you don't count the lines of credit or the grants for set departments, we had grants for 2.6 million. If we hadn't had those grants for this general fund, we would have been over $4 million over budget. A
A lot of money.
lot of money, and then you're already going to borrow up to 6 million more.
Well, who are they borrowing from? From I guess. See here, let me turn my thing down.
Uh, Well, you know,
Wouldn't be
your
wouldn't
bank
be
your bank FU's in there.
wouldn't be Bank FU right there, huh? In the leadership team.
The leadership team, yeah. Here,
Yeah,
let's.
was there
Well,
somebody like right there in the middle of the screen, a Jim something that was
don't know ho.
yeah, Jim Donoho. Is he the
Don't
one?
know ho.
Is he the one that was you said was maybe a little offended by us talking about his bank?
Oh, I'm sure he is. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out which one was that. The last one I shared. Yeah, there it is. Here,
Hmm.
there. You remember how I keep telling y'all that the city and the chamber and everything's in between, entwine and Bank FU, because Bank FU loves this mayor. You know why?
Because he
Because
borrows money from him.
he likes to spend a lot of money, and they make money. Look at there. You got you got the mayor and the chamber CEO just arm in arm embrace. Almost looks like they're like family, doesn't it? And you got somebody from the state in there. What else we
Hmm.
got here? I put this up here right here. Say it says our city, Portland, Tennessee. This is not the Portland, Tennessee's website. This is the mayor's website that he created so he can control what's put on there and all his photo ops and how great he looks to the community. All right, here's another one. Let's see what it
Instead
is.
of staying under budget and not spending more than they get.
Here's Portland Chamber.
Oh,
Member of the day. Look at there. It's Bank
oh,
FU.
oh, yeah.
No corruption there, is it?
No,
Mhm.
nothing to
And
see there. I mean, the
here's a
only okay, and this
it
was
said, I recently had a conflict with a developer who is building multi-million-dollar subdivision near my home. Citizens discovered he is vetting proposed developments. If you ever watch these, well, there's another Irish city. This is Mr. Mayor. It should say Mr. Mayor of Portland webpage is what it should say. Facebook page instead of Irish city.
hmm
But what this, if you look at it, to vetting proposed developments, if you've ever watched any of these council meetings, and you should be, 90% of the time, probably 95% of the time, every time they bring something up for a vote, watch it. It's always all in favor, ayes, all opposed. You don't hear
well,
anything.
yeah. Supposedly the only opposition is your clan buddy.
Well, yeah, whatever. Mister, you're referring to Mister Dillard, I assume. Yeah, he opposes some things, but a lot of this stuff, if you just pay attention, listen, it's like I don't know. Can we say it's been worked out in the room before the meeting or the day before
Well,
the meeting?
it was worked out at the supposed high class restaurant across the street, huh?
Where was it? Oh, where we're going to
Yeah,
shoot turds across from Subway?
Cinco chefs, I guess.
Cinco chefs.
Cinco chefs.
So I was going to go through some of these departments. I want to. I'm going to commend right off the top the police department, fire department, because the police department stayed under budget, and the fire department was just barely over. So if you took them as a combo, they were still way under. Now, you saying that the police department was budgeted almost $4 million, and the fire department over $2 million. So when you say they stayed under budget, yeah, I'm going to commend them for staying under budget because they did. But you two together had $6 million to operate. So um, the police department was right at $235,000 under 3.887 budget, 3.887 million, and the fire department was over $42,000. And I say I commend them because I feel like those are the two hardest departments that you can kind of predict what your budget needs to be, right? Because uh, a lot of these other ones, uh, like the highway department, everybody knows in this town, the highway department, they went over $246,000 in 2021. And anybody that's part of this town knows what are they spending that money on, because some of these city streets that they're responsible for don't seem to be getting fixed. The swimming pool. The swimming pool stayed under budget by $20,000. Now they were only budgeted $39,000. They only spent 38 or 18, so they still had $20,000 they can spend. I think most of us agree they probably could have used that $20,000 for upgrades to make it a little more pleasant experience for the people. The waste they went over by 38,000. This this big thorn in the side for 2020 or 2021 was the golf course. Now, hopefully, this year and years to come, they're going to make money, but they were $90,000 over budget, and their budget was only 132,000. They spent 222,000. The airport,
Mm-hmm.
the airport was under, but the airport they get their own grants and stuff that's separate. Your stormwater, they were over by 57,000. Uh, as a general fund, there was four things that the city spent 150,000 or 150% of their budget on. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It was advertising, telephone and communications, workers' comp, and dues.
Do they need to advertise? I thought Portland was on the map.
Well, I think that advertise is probably entwined with the chamber, because the chamber does a lot of stuff for them.
Mm.
So you spent 150% of your budget on those four things. You had 125 plus or more. It's 150% or more, and then 125% of your budget or more on other professional services, data processing, maintenance and repair, office supplies, bank charges,
Oh, yeah, there we go.
bank employee education and training, the highway department, the golf course.
What's the bank charges?
Well, they didn't give that detailed information.
They didn't give that detail. That sounds like a.
Now, I mean, I can go back and request all the bank statements for the whole year. We can find out what it's for. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You had 12 different places where you spent at least 125% or more of your budget, for 150% or more of your budget, and you were over on. So that's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 different line items or departments you want to call it you were over on, because we're also over on taxes and licensing, planning and codes, internal government, miscellaneous other revenues, court and grants. How do you go over? If you get a grant, how do you go over? They give you a grant. You only have so much you can spend. Streets and highway, aviation fuel,
Mm-hmm.
fire department, and stormwater.
Did the
All right?
police get helicopters? Because we're so, it's Chirac down here.
No, I think that aviation fuel was it wasn't in the airport. It was a different line item. So I don't know what all that's about.
I just
Might be some fuel they couldn't use that they I know they sold some. That was a line item.
well,
But
if they would have bought it, well, see, how say if they would have bought it 6 months ago and then sold it now, they'd have turned a profit, right?
Well, they probably didn't sell it and make a profit.
Oh, they're not about making profits. That's right.
So you tie all this together with the Robertson County deal, right? Portland has annexed Ball and Drive out there, right? All those buildings, but they set in a different county. So guess who has the foot the bill for police, fire, EMS?
Yeah, you talked about this last week. You wanted to
A little bit.
discuss it.
So the Portland taxpayers have to foot the bill for all that when you get nothing in return from Robertson County. So they get to claim it.
Yeah, when there's
as part of Robertson County, they get the property taxes.
When there's an injury or something that needs police up on Vaughn, they go into a different county and do the service, but then Robertson County doesn't have to pay for it, but they collect the taxes. Is that where I want to know where the taxes are going from the warehouse?
But you had two members of Bank FU that was on the Portland Industrial Board, and there was a loan officer at Bank FU on the Robertson County Industrial Board.
Oh,
see, all that intertwines, right?
Well, like I said, my thing about Bank FU was always just knowing what Bank FU did to my grandparents and did to my aunt, or doing to my aunt. It's just, there are probably some rich people in this town who bank there and get nothing but fluff jobs from the bank, and the bank just constantly, you know, powders their rear ends because they got a lot of money. But then people may not know that that bank is what they're doing with their 3-year balloons legal. Sure. Is it borderline predatory? Absolutely. And that's where it's just like, that board of people, what was it, Jim Donahoe? If he's mad at us, why don't he bring something forward in the bank, and then why don't they rewrite all those 3-year balloon loans on houses where the equity in the house is far more than what's owed to the bank? And why don't you just write it as a standard loan? But you won't, because there's too much money in it. And that's where I have a problem with those places, because they're no different than a 24/7 cash advance place.
Yeah, we talked about this the other day. Even though those are legal by law standards, they're predatory.
Yeah, they are.
They prey on the poor, just like Bank FU does with those balloon payments. They know they're not going to get at them. They're not going to let them out of them.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll find an excuse not to write them a regular loan. Let's keep them under our thumb and put them under our cat's paw, and let's Milburn Drysdale all the rich people in town. Let's go all the Jed Clampetts in town, and let's tell them how much we love having their business, and we're a great bank. While on the other side of your face, you're no different than Two-Face in the Dark Knight.
So I wanted to intertwine all this. Like I said, if we didn't have those grants, and there's more grants out there, I don't know why we're not getting them. I mean, everybody that works for the city that is in administration, they ought to be calling and filling out paperwork and getting as many grants as you can, because I've heard from multiple people and learned a little bit myself. Portland was virtually built on a grant. Most of the things that they got done, the airport, they get grants all the time. And here's another thing about that Robertson County deal. We talked about it a few shows ago. I told you that it's $1.8 million. The mayor just brought up to put lights out there, that new exit that sets in Robertson County, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if it's going to be in their county, they ought to foot some of that bill. Now, I know the state said they were going to pay $900,000, so that leaves another $900,000 or whatever. Why does the city of Portland have to pay it? Why does us taxpayers have to pay it? The reason I bring all this up is because this is just 1 year, right? If I go back and I go through the other 2 prior years and we're over $1.5 million, and then you're approving and saying you're going to borrow another up to $6 million, and it's already been established that we're making payments and we owe money from at least out to year 2035, and yet they didn't give me the evidence to back this up. Some say it's almost out to 2045 of the money that we've got borrowed right now. And then you're going to add $6 million. You're going to add $6 million right now on top of that. And then if you're going over $1.5 million every year on your budget, when does it end?
You've got, what was it? Ryan Cohen, the CEO or person that was in that GameStop thing. I seen he did a tweet the other day, and he showed the federal budget. He's like, "What's $30 trillion between friends?" I mean, people don't understand how banks work. I mean, every time Farmers Bank issues a loan, they
give you.
Oh, well, you posted it, so it's Bank FU, whatever. There it is. Yeah, when they create a loan, it's money that's being created. It's being created into existence. It's not like they're taking people's money that they have in the vault. They just loan it into existence, and then they've got the city on the hook for it. And it would do the city some good if they would figure out a way. And maybe the answer again, you could expand the state bank idea.
Yeah, we've seen that one.
It would be great to, for the cities to actually stop paying interest to these people. They're a private institution, just like the Federal Reserve. People don't even understand that. Federal Reserve is private.
I put that up there to show y'all. The reason I brought all this up, not just the spending, but our current mayor. he is a micromanaging, controlling person, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't believe me, just go back and watch the last planning committee meeting and see how that went down. That was uh, that was comical at his finest, where uh, him mostly, and then some with Mister Alderman Woodall, uh, controlled that meeting and stopped that meeting and had to revote. And he's created his own city Facebook page so he can control the narrative. And he's at every, he's the ultimate politician, right? He's at every function he can get at dressed up, and every photo op he can with shaking hands or embracing, the chamber or members of Bank FU or anybody from the state or any kind of government whatsoever that'll come and make that happen. And then
Didn't
and then you,
his pick for county mayor lost, correct?
oh yeah, his
His
Chris
corrupt.
Taylor, his corrupt Metro officer, vice uh, or assistant chief, yeah, he lost. I believe either almost all of them or all of them that he endorsed for county elections lost.
Oh, that's good. He lost his friends. They can't, stump for him.
Well, I'm sure they'll still back him, push him for reelection. He had, to my knowledge, he had announced that he's running, but everything that he's doing with his photo ops and uh, his Our City Facebook page and all that is setting up for the rerun.
Hmm. It's just as much your city as it is his. What an
Well,
egotistical, arrogant. Hmm.
well,
Wasn't you was born and raised in that city, wasn't you?
well, yeah. I mean, he may have been too.
Well,
He went to school with my
but
cousin.
talk about arrogance and saying our city, like he don't care what you have to say about. Hey, how about do the budget correct? How
No,
about fire police officers when they do wrong?
this is just me going through this budget, and I found a bunch of discrepancies and information missing because that's how they wanted to give it to me, right? So, what would happen if a certified analyst and bookkeeper came in here and went through piece by piece all the bank statements, all their information that they got on file? What do you think would happen? Because they got one, for example, they got one line item in one of these budgets where they show a $15 million budget, extra $15 million budget on one line item, but on the total budget, it's not there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're making one department look really, really good, but you're not carrying it over to make the whole good. It didn't make very much sense to me with that. I would think you'd want to carry that over, but I think I found out that was just like a $15 million line of credit. It wasn't an actual grant. That was our money. It was our money if we wanted to use it. Uh, but if we didn't use it, it wasn't. It just stayed where it was at. So they were counting that on their. I think it was sewer. I'd have to go back and look. I think it might have been sewer. They were counting that on that line item as in that department, but it really wasn't ours. I don't know. So much to go through. And another thing is, you go through this and you see all the different accounts for the different departments, and I'm like, well, you got balance. You got $828,000 in the bank. I'm like, if you spent $1.5 million more than you had, how does this department have $828,000 in the bank? You go to the next department and it'll show it's got 200 something $1,000. I'm like, well, we owe somebody that money if you got that much money in the bank. That's not including the petty cash and petty cash for parks and petty cash for this department, that department. And, um,
I think a lot of people need petty cash for their groceries now.
I heard that. I'm still trying to figure out how. Oh, there. Let me see if I can find this. Whoever's doing the budget, and I would say that lies a lot on the mayor, and I'm sure there's other people involved. But there's one item in here that we budgeted for our taxes, and we spent 3 times what we budgeted on taxes. So that tells me there's not anybody that has any inkling or common sense that's doing this budget. I think they budgeted 15,000. We end up paying $43,000 on insurance. It's in here, and it's like, why would you budget 15,000 and have to pay out 43,000? And if you take the last 10 years of what your city spent and each department, and then you figure in the inflation and the cost of things, it's not really that hard to do a budget. I mean, they actually got stipulations to go by, right? Are you there? I think we're having technical difficulties.
Yes.
Are you there?
Let me see if that works. Hold on. Are
Can
you
you
there?
hear me?
I said, are you going to do the budget?
What do you mean?
Are you going to do the budget?
Am I going to go through and do a budget?
I don't know. I mean, you know, if you decide to put your hat in the ring.
Oh, am I? Well, I'm sure I'll be a major part of that. Yeah.
And you're going to let Mr. County here come in and get the budget and make sure you're doing it right?
Who?
Mr. County Man.
I don't know. You got to run for that state position.
I'm gonna come up here and make sure you did your budget right.
I don't care. It's an open records request.
Oh, they'd give them to me? They probably wouldn't want to.
Maybe, I don't know if they got stipulations. You got to be a citizen of the city or not. They probably do. What are your thoughts on that?
What, the budget? That's like every other city in the state or every state in the country are ever spending more money than they should. I mean, I don't. How do we fix it though? You said you spoke with who did you speak with? You told me earlier.
I'm not gonna talk about that yet.
What, the phone? It was just our phone call. It was our pre-show warm up. I hear feedback. Is that you?
I got the mic off, so
you can hear it though, can't you? Is it on your phone?
Let's see if did that take care of it?
Yeah,
I think I took care of it.
All right.
Now my phone, I got my phone off and everything. Well, I'm putting all that out there for the people to understand, and they might get tired of hearing it, but you put that up a while ago, right? What'd you put up there? Stupid is knowing the truth, seeing the truth, but still believing the lies. And you don't have to believe us. We want you to do your own research. Go up there and get your own information. I mean, it's in black and white. All you got to do is follow the breadcrumbs. Look at the Chambers page. Look at the mayor's Our City page. It really isn't the Portland City page. Go up there and get the budget and get all these different requests and put the pieces together. In a world of propaganda, the truth is always a conspiracy. I bring that up because me and Puddin we want to call some people out, you know. Anybody that's involved with the city, mayor, the chamber, Bank FU, any of you.
I can see you can Google Bank FU, you know, and look them up on there and see their board of directors. So I mean,
let me see them again. You got them?
No, I have to pull them back up.
Pull them back up so they can see them. Any of you that want to challenge us and come on the air and defend yourself instead of hiding in the grass like snakes and telling other people that we're lying and we have false information when some of the things that we talk about, I show you the proof. There's your board of directors right there. See?
There's your president, CEO, your chairman, and then
Well,
your
see,
board of directors.
yeah, that Wilkinson, that's another powerful name that in our city.
Wilkinson.
Yeah. Funeral Home Wilkinson.
Hmm.
Oh, come on the show. It's an open invitation.
They can't because they're just gonna do the corporate jargon. That's pretty much all they'll do. That's what they do.
If they want to do their corporate political dance around, that's on them. But we're leaving it open invitation for anybody. If your last name's Collins or Wilkinson or Dunaho or Whitaker, you want to come on the show, come on the show. If you're part of Bank FU and you want to come on and prove to us that we're lying, come on the show.
The only one who wants to come on the show is your your white sheep buddy. I'm sorry,
What?
I can't help it. I can't help
Oh,
it. It's too funny. Because I mean, that's how
well, yeah,
that's how
if
you
that's how they
were.
see it. Let them see it that way.
That's how they worded it. They took it all out of
Man,
context.
yeah, man, Mr. Dillard. They're
Yeah,
worried
you
about
and
that,
Dillard.
but they're not worried about how their charter's written, though, are they?
No, no. But no, it's like I said. I don't. They'll do their corporate jargon, and everybody will see them for the crooks they are, which would be great. But they're not going to. They're. What was it you heard that they were trying to figure out ways to sue the show because we're talking about them?
No, I said that it wouldn't surprise me if certain board members of the Bank FU board would
No,
try to sue us.
I guess their names need to be private on the internet. I reckon.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
Board of directors, farmer,
Mister
Bank
Mister
FU.
Mister Donaho board of directors. Your information's out there, buddy. I'm sorry.
It's not private. Your board of directors.
Just like if you're setting mayor of this town and you're spending money like we're the Kardashians, and you're already $1.5 million over budget for 2021, and that's not counting the past years.
I'd at least respect you. I would at least respect y'all if y'all spent the money on a Bruce Jenner reassignment surgery.
Oh my gosh!
Come on now.
Well, I urge everyone to watch these council meetings and listen to what I'm telling you. When they bring something up for a vote, I'm talking about when they bring something up for the vote, the city, and they're ready to vote on it. Just go back to that first reading of the Old Farmers Bank that Mr. Dillard opposed and wanted more discussion for, and I'm right there with him on that because, and they want to donate it to the chamber for $1 a month, $1 a year, whatever. It doesn't matter, and the taxpayers still pay the maintenance and the taxes on that land and that building for the chamber to use. I called the chamber and asked if I could have their records. Now, this is what they told me.
I'm running to get a beer.
All right, if you want to become a member, we allow our members to look at our minutes and our budget. And I said, no, I want everything. I want your salaries and everything. Oh, no, we don't want that getting out there. So you're telling me that you got a CEO of the chamber who I almost guarantee makes over six figures, and you're intertwined with them as a city and the mayor, and then you want to hand them a building to operate out of? I don't want to hear they're a nonprofit association. That means they can make $10 billion a year and pay their CEO and their employees $1 million a year. That's not a nonprofit. Now, I know the classifications of laws, you can call it a nonprofit association. And this is what I asked the CEO. I said, when you receive taxpayer dollars that you use, I feel like all your records should be open just like the city records are. Oh no, we don't want to get those records out. But I'm gonna put in the open records request anyway, just to have it denied, and I have that paper trail of it being denied. So we as a city are automatically giving them an annual donation every year. Are we giving Hands of Hope and Pay It Forward and Little League Baseball and
when
all
is that going to be, by the way, Spoon?
All these others? Are they getting annual donations from the city?
So when is that going to be, Spoon?
What? Uh, the community outreach?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's going to be this Wednesday. If anybody watching don't know, uh, going to do a community outreach podcast this coming Wednesday. It's May 11th at 7 o'clock. We're going to have
I'll
a few on
probably
there.
I probably won't be here. I'll
You're going to
probably be
sit.
working.
Well, you'll be working.
Maybe I
Puddin's got
can.
the option to be on while he's driving or sit this one out. But we're gonna have a few on here. We're gonna have pay
Maybe
it
I'll
forward.
be able to. Maybe I'll be able to blow you up in chat and chafe your ass.
We're gonna have Miss Ashley in Portland pay it forward on for sure. We're gonna have Mr. Hank Creekmore and Freebird, their charity.
Do they
They're gonna
get
be
any?
on.
Do them organizations get any donations from the city?
Not that I've seen.
Oh,
I mean, they did in 2021 because I
the
just went through the budget.
chamber does.
Well, the chamber got their annual donation was $20,000 right off the bat.
Oh, $20,000. Wow. And but they don't want to show you their pay stubs.
The money that I could follow in 2019, the chamber got at least 45 grand from the city. In
But they're not
2020,
public record.
not public record, no. But this is from the city side. But they say theirs is not public. In 2020, the COVID year, they got at least 29,000.
Then they've wasted 45,000 in 2019 that they need to get back.
In 2021 was still sort of a COVID year. They got at least 36,000. And 2022, that's as of right now. Well, this was middle of last month, end of last month. They've got at least 28,000 from the city so far.
But that money is just thrown away.
Well, it's probably going to fall into that advertising and Strawberry Festival, and they're going to say the chamber does great things for the city, which I'm going to say that's what the chamber is created to do. Good things for the city, bring in commerce, advertising. That's what they were for. I'm not saying we don't have to pay them for some things, but you're giving them $20,000 right off the bat. Let's talk with Pay It Forward and the Free Bird and Hands of Hope and all these other charities that do great things in this town, and see how much money that we donate to them. You think it's going to be a $20,000? I guarantee you that all three of them combined those three combined would be $20,000 in all 3 or 4 years combined.
Well, think what $20,000 with the community coming and volunteering and just a trip to Lowe's would get you.
Well, I mean, if you just go by the numbers I got, and that's just the rough numbers the city provided, right? That's not having the chamber's books and not having 100% transparent city books. You're looking at in the last 3 years and the start of the 4th year, you're looking at 74, 80, 110, right at $140,000 in a little over 3 years. That's at the minimum that you've handed to the chamber, which I'm sure you've owed them some money for doing some things that you asked them to do. I'm not saying that at all. Did you owe them $140,000? That's probably about what their CEO makes a year. Maybe 150, maybe more. But yet they want to take taxpayers' money and not tell you what they use your money for and not let you look at their books while they go arm in arm, embrace with the mayor, taking their photo ops. No city around here. You can go to Gallatin and Harrisonville, Westmoreland, White House. No city around here, no town, is the chamber and the city and the mayor so intertwined. Because if the chamber don't want it around here, it don't happen.
Well, there's no city around here where there's no city around here where there's only 2 banks either.
If the bank FU and the chamber don't want it don't happen, right?
Mm-hmm. Follow the money. I mean, it's really a follow the money.
I urge, and I can't say this enough, all you people, follow the money. Go to the chamber's Facebook page. Go to our city, the mayor's Facebook page. Look at all the photo ops and everything that he's got to publicize there to make himself look good.
What
Look at
little
all the
park
videos.
is? What little
Go to the
park
video,
is he doing?
go to the little videos where he's got Chris Taylor on there promoting him, and then he's got a video of a few of them running for county elections this past week. And look at that Chris Taylor guy. Just tell me, just looking at him and listen to him talk. He's the assistant chief in Metro Nashville, where he's already been caught, and the taxpayers of Davis County had to pay out $295,000 in the lawsuit. And now
Well,
he's in the middle of another big investigation. See, that's the whole reason he was running for mayor, because he's not going to have his job as so let's try to separate the bank FUs and the chambers and the cities, and let the city do their business. Let the chamber do what they're designed to do. Let bank FU decide or do their business how they want to do it, and let the city decide if they want to give bank FU any of their business. And let's take some of that money that we hand to the chamber so that we can get votes and special treatment, and let's disperse it other places. Like Little League Park, hands a hoe, Miss Ashley, pay it forward. Hey, let's do something
is
for
that what you're talking about? The Little League Park?
teens. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Bento and all that messed up, trashy area around behind there and beside there and Swifty.
Well, here's
They're not
another
doing
thing. What about where old Swifty is? I managed Swifty there for a few years. They sold out. The old man died, then the dad died. Now it left to the kids. What is happening with that whole building and that whole land behind it? If that was one of our homes in the city or something, they'd already condemned it and took it over. Well, why don't we do something about that?
I don't know. It depends on who owns it. I guess we need to do a title search on it.
We can do that.
Well, maybe it would be interesting. If it's owned by Bank FU, ain't nothing going to happen to it because they have so
I don't know
much
who it's owned
control.
by. I know there's somebody I know that sells fireworks out there. He sets his container up there, and I'm not going to say his name. Sets a container up over and sells fireworks. I don't have no problem with him. But I mean, he's got permission from somebody, I guess, or maybe you don't.
There's a lot of fireworks stores that pop up, and
it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, there's a big chunk of land right there that if nobody's going to do anything with that old station, it could be tore down, and something can be there that looks better than what it looks.
Well, I mean, it's amazing. We live in a state where isn't there still a fireworks stand out there by the truck stop on 52?
52? No, so
no, over the jump over 65 there. They're still. Are they still?
I don't think they're open anymore.
Are they closing? Well, you've got the one down there on Cross Plains anyway.
Yeah,
we live in
over
yeah. Then you've got Sad Sam's down at White House. I mean, them fireworks must make a fortune, huh? For everybody to come in here and set up little tents and all compete. It's kind of
sure
sad.
I'm sure they make some money.
I'm sure they do, but we live in a state where you have actual physical brick and mortar stores that sell that stuff. Yeah.
But I want people to understand what have we got done for the city that's made it better? What retail have we got in here that's made our city better for us and better for other people that move in here? What good restaurants have we got to come in here? And I'm talking about for a while. You had former Mayor Wilbur, and now you've had 3.5 years, or going on 3.5 years of this micromanaging dictator Callis, who likes to spend money like we're the Kardashians. But what has got done to better our city?
I haven't noticed anything.
Now I'm not saying there's not improvements get done. Of course, there's small improvements get done, but if we're spending that much money at that pace, it ought to be visual. You know what I'm saying?
Your video on your YouTube channel with the transparency when you went in there and talked to him and he walked you around and gave you like a 45-minute tour. I just it shocked me to the point where I was like, the way he just rolled off his tongue that they spent how many millions of dollars doing City Hall?
Well, he tried to say 5, but I think it was closer to 7 or 8 million when they were done.
Well, I mean, just the way it's just easy for them to say them figures. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
$5 million. It's not my money. What do I
it's
care if we
just, you
spent
know,
$5 million? We're going to borrow $6 million. What do I care if we borrow $6 million
well,
and
we
the
got a grant
taxpayers
for
are left?
4, but Bank FU's across the street, and they told us they're going to give us 4% on the other 3. You know,
So the taxpayers can continue to pay on that money until the year
yeah, they can pay.
2050.
Yeah, they can pay interest until who cares? We got an institution looking City Hall.
Let's put that in perspective. If we know for certain we got to pay loans that we have right now out to 2035,
You
and some of
shouldn't
the
be
people
taking
within the city
any
saying
more loans.
it's 2045. I got a daughter that's in kindergarten. She's 6. So in 12 years, she's going to be 18.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2034. So right now, if we don't borrow any more money, and it was 2035, when my daughter that's in kindergarten turns 18, we'll still owe money that we
Sorry.
borrowed yesterday.
How many
All
Dollar
right.
Generals do we got?
I think we need some more. What are you talking about?
Maybe Dollar General donates to the chamber and the mayor. I mean, it is kind of pathetic.
Well, Mr. Reed, if you wasn't on here earlier and you talked about the roads, I showed that our highway
Well,
department.
the elections are over, so I mean, I'm sorry, I don't really,
Well, the city.
they ran around fixing a lot of the back roads, real fast right before election time. So it's going to be
Oh,
another 4 years before they get back to it.
oh yeah. Well, our highway department for the city spent about $250,000 over budget, and I would like them to show me the city streets where they spent that money. Now this year, I know they had to spend it on the square and around because they got the Strawberry Festival. Yeah, I know that's number one priority. I understand that, but last year they spent $250,000 over in 2021 on the city streets or the highway department.
Well, if Mister
Where do they
if
spend that
Mister
money?
Spoon, if Mayor Spoon goes in, I'm gonna bug him, Mister Kirk. I'm gonna bug him about trying to get a mire put in on the south side of town over here.
A Meyer?
Yeah.
What about a Publix? Let's get a Publix.
Oh gosh. Come on, get a mire down here, man. I'm
Hey,
sure they want to venture into Tennessee. At least they can say they're here.
nah, we don't need that northern stuff. Keep it up there.
Oh gosh, it's only in Bowling Green. You calling that northern?
Yeah, that's northern. That's way
Okay,
up
whatever.
there. Stay way up there, Meyer. We don't want you. We'll take our Chick-fil-A and our Publix.
I don't. I'm from Florida. I don't want a Publix. Okay, we've got 2 of them in Gallatin. What do we need one up here for?
Well, here's another thing to tie into this budget and the mayor's spending and his micromanaging, controlling his own little Facebook page. Yeah, there he's braced arm in arm with the chamber, and then you got the state guy up there. A few weeks ago, he allowed Alderwoman Thompson to take over his legislative side when it's what he usually does in the council meetings, right? And they brought up they want to portray that when she brought up updating the charter because it's out of date and stuff, which we already know it's out of date. I've already showed everybody about the wording, but they want to raise
that word is in the charter.
Yes, it's in the charter. That's page 8 of the city charter. If everybody's on there haven't seen it, it says Negro Ripley's property, where they're describing somebody in our town, but they were up in arms about Alderman Dillard. But what reason I'm getting to that is because they want everybody to think that they care about the people, and they're doing that because our charter's outdated, and they don't want somebody to get by with what he got by with supposedly, because they don't even really know what he said. They don't care about what that wording is, but they want to raise taxes. But I don't know if anybody's read the charter. I have. The charter says they can charge no more than 30 cents on the dollar when it comes to property taxes. And I've heard it rumored that they want to charge and raise it to 40 cents on the dollar. That's what they want the new taxes to be. But in order to do that, they have to update and change the charter to where it says they can charge up to 40 cents on every dollar for your land taxes and stuff, property taxes. So that's the real reason they brought all that up. It's not. It's kind of like the R's and the D's now. They're fighting for and against. We all know what, but that's all that's going on. It's a smoke screen for what's going on behind you, right? The same thing with them. They brought the charter up because they want to say we want to be able to not let anybody get by with what Mr. Dillard said and done, and our charter needs to be updated and changed. But the truth is, we need to update it and change it so that we can raise your taxes, your property taxes. But our charter won't let us do it at this current moment. That's the real reason. If you don't believe me, go read the charter. Go read it.
I just wonder why it's not allowed if they're going to not be responsible to. We can annex property. Shouldn't you be able to unannex yourself from their taxes if it's?
Yeah,
it would be nice.
What's another thing about that Robertson County deal? The mayor brought in that last meeting something about unannexing out there towards Vaughn because of, it's costing the city money, and Robertson County don't want to put any into it, but they get to claim all the property taxes. But just like that Mitchellville deal, as soon as Mitchellville hired an attorney, which way did the mayor go?
The other way, right?
He started backpedaling, right? Same thing out there. As soon as he mentioned the word, we think about annexes, and then they said something and he started backpedaling the other way.
Well, the vice mayor there, with his housing projects and his houses development, he didn't want to spend the extra, $10,000-$20,000 installing a septic system. Isn't that what you do when you don't have access to sewage? Isn't that how you handle toilet flushes?
I
know. We know
septic system. Yeah.
You're on a septic, but they're not going to put you on it. But what I'm saying is, let's let the city taxpayers in Portland pay for Mitchellville's septic system that some cheapskate doesn't want to install. A septic system.
Ben, I'm with you. They ain't worried about scat rock over there. They can't even fix some of the back roads that's in our town. You think they're going to worry about scat rock?
We don't need no more of the. It'll be $2 tree pretty soon. $2 tree. It'll be $2 tree. Those are. I don't even know how they operate, honestly.
Well, they buy items in bulk, right?
Yeah,
so
but
all the items you go in there and pay $1 for at the Dollar Tree,
we're both truck drivers, and we both seen the cost of diesel. And what I'm saying is the fuel surcharge has got to be eating them alive in their profits.
Well, that's why they're going up to more than $1.
$2 tree. It'll be $2 tree soon.
And Dollar General, they need to change their name altogether.
$10 General. That's. How many of them do we got here? You got the one up in Mitchellville. You got the one down here, near me. And you get the one over. Yeah, there's.
You got
Cottontown. Yeah, one in Cottontown. You got Cross Plains. You got the one right there. There's 7 of them within a 20-minute drive at least.
You got one up from my house here. You got one in Oak Grove. That's 2. You got one at the end of 31. That's 3. You got 2 in town. That's 5. You got the one in Cross Plains. That's 6. You got one in Cottontown. That's 7. Where else am I missing?
The one out here by me. Did you count that one?
Yeah, that's 8.
Okay.
So within probably a 10-minute drive of probably any of us that live, you got $8 Generals.
I'd say let's stay safe and call it 20 minutes of downtown Portland. You can be in 8 different Dollar General. Hey, if you use the Dollar General app and you do the penny shopping, it could be worth it. To go right around and find that stuff.
Well, Ben, you got to understand, Highway 109 and 52 are state roads, so that's a different
state problem.
Yeah, that's a state problem. So if the city had to handle it, the state would have to pay them to do it. The city roads are all the side streets. That's what they're responsible for.
And then you got the county, which the elections were out here near me. They did a lot of road repairs. They was like rushing it, trying to fix all these Cotton Town roads down here, and it was probably because of elections.
Was
So
that road superintendent want to get reelected?
I don't know. They did Roberts Road back over there, for all pretty much all the way to Brandy Hollow. It was like, whoa. And then they patched a lot of holes and did a lot of repairs real quick. But you know,
So,
yeah, the new 109's on Roberts, which is out here near me. They did that whole, but they paved that whole road, and I was like, it was about time it needed it. But there's a lot of other ones out here that needed it. Too bad we're going to have to wait 4 more years for the county elections to come around before they get
but
to it.
but just think this: we have three. Is it three? One, two, three,
In the
four.
city?
$4 generals inside the city limits, right?
No.
Yes. You got one on 52 out here where I live,
Yes.
across from where I live.
And you got
You have
52 by Taco Bell.
all right. That's two. You got 109 beside the school. That's three. And you got
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
the old 109 out by the 31W. That's four. Within the city limits, you got $4 generals.
Oh, north of Mitchellville?
If you turn the old 109, remember they put the do around where you come around the circle.
Yeah, over the Speedway.
All
But
right, so
I thought they. Well,
no,
if you count that one as Portland,
that is Portland. That's city limits.
I always call that Mitchellville.
Well, it's not. It's Portland.
I know. Okay, so 4.
So you got $4 generals in the city limits of Portland.
Yeah, but we couldn't have a Walmart.
Oh, why would we want a Walmart? We got Dollar General.
No. White House got the Walmart. Hey, thank you, powers that be.
You don't think
Oh, my buddy's watching.
your buddy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Chuck.
Oh, Chucky.
What's up, Chucky?
Mm.
I waved at him.
Yes. Huh?
I waved at him. You don't think Mr. Whitaker or Bank FU or Collins or any of those had any influence of why we didn't get a Walmart or why we don't have a Publix or a Chick-fil-A or you insert here
I want Steak and Shake. That's what
Steak and Shake. You don't think they have any influence of why our city doesn't grow?
Okay, Michelle says she wants a cookout. That's what she wants.
Yeah, and Trey says he wants you to cook too.
Mm-hmm. No, but no, cookout would be nice. I mean, you got one in Hendersonville and you got one in Bowling Green, so kind of centrally located. I bet that place would be just slammed.
Who?
Cookout.
Well, I'm sure.
Imagine if they put a cookout over there, out towards Orlando or something.
Well, you got to think. You go to if you go to the restaurants we got in town here, McDonald's. Talking about the fast food, McDonald's, Sonic, Burger King, Hardee's, and you want to get a burger, fry, and drink combo. It's a Dairy Queen. It's a minimum of $10, right? A minimum.
It's getting there.
All right, you go to Cookout for what? $6?
Do they still got that $6 meal?
Yeah, it's $5.95 last time out. You get a burger and 2 sides and a large sweet tea for $6. Who wouldn't wear Cookout out?
I think people around here will wear a cookout out, especially since they're open like 4 in the morning or something, or 2 or 3 in the morning, something like that.
What? Well, you take Steak and Shake like you said, Cookout, Chick-fil-A, any of those, they would wear out.
Right now, everybody's wearing out the McDonald's, getting themselves a McHeart attack.
I don't eat McDonald's food hardly ever. I drink their drinks, but I don't eat their food. I'll eat oatmeal in the morning just every now and then. Now my kids, they love their food.
I think that McDonald's in Portland is like awful. I mean, every time I've been there, it's just the food is just the drink seems to be so watered down that they got the syrup turned way back. That one's awful.
Depends. Sometimes I go and your Coke is really good, and then other times I go, Same thing with the tea, but you can say that about anywhere. Ben says $12 minimum for a number one at McDonald's. See, if you had a cookout, you could get a double burger, two sides, and a large sweet tea for
You can get
$6.
a milkshake upgrade for like $1.
So you could get two. You could get two burgers, four sides, and two large sweet teas for the same price as your number one at McDonald's.
No, I'm not gonna disagree with the wife over here on the cookout. I would be. Oh gosh, yeah. Anything would be profitable here. I think everybody's tired of the. Okay. There ain't no good service. I mean, Burger King, I will say, has been okay. I reckon. I do go there occasionally. Oh
And I
boy.
wish, and
Hey,
I
you
wish I
want to go
had,
last night to Dairy Queen and get you? She wanted a cheesecake. She was all about cheesecake. Oh gosh.
and I wish I had more information for you guys, but you know, I think the city is slow rolling me on purpose. I emailed the city for the last 2 days,
You've been
Thursday and Friday.
emailing the last couple of days. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
You started
last,
Wednesday.
and then I called them, and it may be the recorder. She may be on vacation or something. So I'm not going to say it's on purpose, but it seems like to me they're slow rolling because in the charter or in their bylaws or whatever you want to call them, they said it's got to be a reasonable amount of time to get these records to you. And I would think a week they could have you something. Of course, I give them a long list, but I told them, uh,
Well, I left a voicemail at the gas department uh, months ago.
have you got a call back?
No,
No,
but we heard my neighbors around me told me the gas line's just up the road about maybe a quarter mile,
right?
half a mile is where the gas line ends, and I was like, hey, what would it take to bring it on down here? And basically left a voicemail, never heard nothing back. So it's not unusual, and they don't like you anyway.
They don't like me. Take a
Yeah,
number.
I'm sure.
We-
I'm sure the mayor's. I'm
Apparently,
sure the mayor's running in there saying, "Hey, lose his application and lose the
uh,
next one and the next one."
apparently, I've been pissing a lot of the powers that be off. The corrupt hands that are tied together. Guess what? Can't be loved by everybody, and sometimes the truth hurts.
Well, we just got to keep speaking it and do our best to, try to figure it out. Hey, you never played the last one. What's the last one there? No, 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 the last one.
Ah,
Ah,
never worry about who will be offended if you speak the truth. Worry about who will be misled, deceived, and destroyed if you don't. That's the way I'm going to live.
oh.
You got anything else there, Puddin? I know you're itching to leave. Where you going?
I smell food cooking.
You smell it. You and Mama got sweet Mama
Yeah.
time. It's Mother's Day. Get
Oh
jiggy with it.
yeah. I already called mine. I know you. Sorry, I'll bring that up. Yes, we're
I wish I could call my mom.
well, you could take your wife out, and she's your mama now.
It's been 22 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Your mom. What?
It's almost 22 years to the day that my mother committed suicide. So I got 5 kids, and she only knew one of them, and that one was a baby. So that's a very
Well,
sad.
you've made many more.
Yeah.
You just can't. You can't figure out. Yeah, like, oh, I just want more. I just want more.
I still want one more boy, but I don't think that's going to be in the cards unless I start adopting.
No. Anyhow, I don't.
You got anything else?
Mm-mm.
All right,
Just gonna go eat.
before we leave, y'all remember next Wednesday or this Wednesday, May 11th, 7 o'clock at night, we're going to have our community outreach podcast. I know for sure we're going to have Miss Ashley and Portland Pay It Forward on there, and Mr. Creekmore and Freebird group on there, and we're we're trying to have a few more on there so they can get there and tell you a little bit about what they do and their upcoming events and how they can help you. So hope y'all tune in and get some useful information. I hope everybody had a happy and great Mother's Day.
Yep.
Mine
You
wasn't
just
too
waited till the end of the show to bring that one up, didn't you?
mine wasn't too happy on standpoints because my mother's not here, but I tried to make sure my wife, I think she had a pretty decent Mother's Day, at least from my standpoint. She got a new phone and flowers and a card and candy. So, and she got taken out to dinner by one of her kids and some other stuff. So she had pretty decent. Probably wasn't the greatest, but it was pretty good. Then my lawnmower broke.
Your lawnmower broke. Uh-oh.
My drive belt and pulley broke. But I'll get that taken care of.
That's not too bad.
Finding the parts is what the bad part is.
Yeah. But, all right, well, I guess we'll see y'all next week.
I'll see y'all Wednesday night. Maybe Puddin to join us. And then we'll see you next Sunday morning to be the morning podcast.
Yes.
Y'all take care.
All right.
We're out.
See y'all.